Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Was Abandoned and Becomes the Strongest Knight of Sagittarius movie special. Before we start, please go support DekuNight for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Abandoned and a new love. How curious is life, isn't it? One day you are with a woman you swore to love forever and the next they leave you for other guys. That's what Hyodo Issei said. But how did this happen? Well, you'll see, this happened a few months ago. The girls one by one were abandoned to me. First they were. Riaz and Akeno told me that at university I met a boy named Ken who was better than me, and that's why they left me, and that he was faithful. That hurt, she said. I was perverted, but I started changing for them. I wasn't so perverted anymore, but I was never unfaithful. Beiju also left me for another boy, a boy named Drive. Zenovia and Irina got married with the same boy who, according to Irina, was more attractive than me, and according to Zenovia much stronger, or so they said, and the rest better not speak. Exemplify, she told me that she wanted to go out with a guy, but she didn't want to hurt me, that's why she asked me to end our relationship. I told her that she was fine, but who was the boy? When she told me I was surprised. The boy was Kiba. It didn't bother me listening to that, rather I felt happy because I would know that Kiba would make her happy. After that everything happened normally, the girls went out with their boyfriends, Kiba and Faye became boyfriends, and I made contracts. Of course I felt alone, until one of those contracts invoked me, or called whatever you want to call it. The girl with blonde hair, scarlet eyes and a green one-piece dress. When I saw her I was speechless because of how beautiful she was. I have seen many beautiful women, but she was prettier than all the girls in the occult club. In the occult club, all the girls feeling a pinch in their hearts. Returning to Issei. While she was looking at her, the girl was talking to me. "Hello demon lord," said the girl as she moved her hands. When I reacted I said, "Yes, I'm sorry, I'm Hyodo Issei, a demon who needs Miss Ia. Or if she called me Yaguki Alina, but she can call me Eli." "Well, Miss Eli, what does her request consist of?" I told her at that moment and she answered me. "I want a friend," Eli told me. "Hey?" I said. "I want a friend," Eli said more firmly. So I asked her why she wants a friend. "Why, I never had one," Eli said. "I don't understand," Eli told him. "You see, I always have everything. If you look at my room you will see that any girl's room, right?" Eli said. I looked at the room and I was right, it had everything that a norm has to do more. But I never had a real friend, everything comes closer. Why is it never good for them? Why, yes, that's why I want a friend, even if he's a demon," said Eli. "I see, then I can't make the contract with you," I told him. But I was going to say Eli until she was interrupted by me. "But if I can be your friend," I told him. Eli was happy and thus began a long friendship that over time became something more. And so the weeks passed. I told her all about my adventure, my hobbies, my old dream that I wanted to be the king of the harem, but when she asked me about what I said, my old dream, I had to tell her about the girls and how they left me, so she told me. "Then there is a free spot for the queen, right?" Eli said, looking at me. When she was going to ask him why, she said that he half kissed her on the lips. First I was surprised, then I reciprocated. So we didn't become boyfriends. She told me if she wanted to have a harem she would let me as long as she was the first. I told her that she would think about it, but first she had to leave the Gremory clan, and then we would live together, I told. So year passed, I dragon term, and I and Eli disappeared. Of course the Mau were looking for them for some reason. I left Eli in a house on the outskirts of the territories of the angels, fallen angels and demon. I told her to wait for me here, and if I don't return before 6 p.m. to go to a safe place that no one knows about, that's me and her. Eli attended, gave me a good luck kiss and I left. Well, here we are in front of the Gremory mansion, about to resign from the Gremory clan with Drake as backup if things get ugly. "Well, let's go," I said to myself. In some unknown place. A figure was watching what was happening with the chestnut. "Wow, this seems interesting," said a woman's voice. End of the first chapter. Hello everyone, for the new leader. And for those of you who already know me, a lot of bad things happened to me. First, someone deleted my story of Ku the Invincible and Harem Hero, and I have to rewrite it. Second, my cell phone is kind of bad, that's why it took me a while to write. Third, I'm a little busy with work so I'm stuck uploading the chapter, so if you want to comment on something, leave it in the comments. Until next time, goodbye. The resignation. Well, here we go, Issei said to himself as she walked towards the Gremory mansion. "Are you sure, mate? After this, I don't think the faction leaders will sit idly by, including the girls," Drake said. "Yes, besides, the girls I was in love with abandoned me. If they tried a little of their own medicine, it's not my problem," said Issei. If you're wondering why Issei would have a problem with girls, well, after Issei disappeared 6 months later, all the girls were looking for him, but why? Well, you see, the girls' perfect boyfriends would have cheated on them and abandoned them for other, much prettier girls, according to what they said. All the girls in the occult club were devastated, but they remembered a brunette who, despite being perverted, never hurt them and always helped them. Issei thought of all of them. And they were looking for him. Since then they were looking for him. Well, now with Issei. "I see, but mate, I have a bad feeling," said Drake. "Yes, that's also why I told Eli, if he doesn't arrive at the agreed time, to hide in that place we planned," Issei said. When he was arriving feeling the presence of Azazel, Michael and Seraphol. Here, Drake prepares energy why these are going to get ugly, says Issei Pucupro. When Issei enters the Gremory mansion, everyone from the Gremory clan was in the room. On the couch, Riaz was crying inconsolably for her pawn until she appeared in front of her. Issei, my dear Issei, said Riaz, getting up and running towards her Amro. But before being hugged, Issei stepped aside, letting Riaz fall. That shocked all the Gremory girls why they never thought Issei would drop a woman, much less Riaz. I'm sorry, Riaz, but if you forgot, we're not dating anymore, Issei said seriously. But I love you and I know I made a mistake, but please forgive me, said Riaz, crying. No, you and the others will hurt me a lot, you don't know how to suffer, that's why I came to leave my resignation, Issei said, annoyed. Riaz and the others felt like he had stabbed them in the heart, but Issei was right, they had hurt him a lot, but I don't know they were going to give up, they were going to get their Amro Issei back by hook or by crook. Then Riaz said Issei, don't want me as a girlfriend, don't want me as a fiancé, and don't want me as a lover, but as a wife, we will marry them right now if you want, and also look at this honeymoon suit I have, Riaz said, while wearing an erotic wedding dress. Issei just turned around and went to where the faction leaders were. Riaz to see Amro's indifference, Issei was not going to give up, he was going to fight him back, or he would kidnap him and make him his own by force. While in the meeting room, well, I think that's all, Michael said. By the way, Serzich's already found Issei, said Azazel. No, unfortunately, said Serzich's. Just then Issei enters the door. Issei, you're back, Serzich said, surprised and happy. Yes, I came back but to leave my resignation, said Issei, lassoing the pawn pieces. That surprised everyone in the room, including Seraphale who was looking at the pieces on the table. Before he could say anything Issei was leaving until some chains pleased him. When Issei looked to see who summoned them he saw Vanala Gremory and her husband Zeodicus Gremory at the door. Vanala said I'm sorry but you won't leave if you marry our stepson. Flight. After realizing that it was Vanala Gremory, Ria's mother caught him and used a little power to break the halls. Listen Vanala and Zeodicus and I have nothing against you, but I have a girlfriend and I am going to be faithful to her and so if you get in my way I will fight you if necessary, said Issei determinedly. While he was saying that, Riaz and the girls heard everything, they were angry at that bitch for taking away their Issei. While she was thinking that, Father Riaz asked Issei, Issei, are you sure about what happened to your dream of a harem of beautiful girls? Why does my daughter and her entourage have a crush on you, said Zeodicus, trying to convince the boy not to leave. I'm sorry but they destroyed it, pointed out to the girls, but I found a woman who loves me as I was and am now, said Issei. How did you go? Zeodicus said. Yes, when I was with the girls I was perverted and I tried to change, but they abandoned me before I had to change, but Eli didn't care about my past. He even said if I wanted a harem that she would be the first in it, that's why I decided that for now I would only be faithful. Issei said to her. As a man I understand you but as a father I want my daughter's happiness, so I won't let you go so easily said Zeodicus as she raises her power. Wait Zeodicus said Seraphol. Everyone in the room looked at what she said. Since Issei is not from the Gremory clan, why doesn't she join me as a servant of the Citri family who says Issei my love said Seraphol. Before Issei responded, Vanala spoke. Don't buck around, Siba will go home with my daughter, Vanala said angrily. No, he will go with me to heaven so I will make my little sister happy, Michael said. While they were discussing everything, Issei slowly ran away until Azazel kicked him and sent him flying out of the mansion. Everyone realized they were running out. I'm sorry Issei, but you are too important to let go said Azazel. Azazel is right, you are very important because soon we will launch Dragon Op I Super, said Sinzich's note. I commented if you understood the reference. Quick writing, put the stamp on it, said Sinzich's. Somewhere woman watched everything with amusement. Well, she needs help, so I'll help her a little, said the woman. Being where she was, here she is with a boy, the woman said as a golden light went towards the chestnut tree. Well with Issei. Drag now said Issei. If said Drag lie long a power that Asher fly to Graphi and to the Tumar. While Issei recovers Drag tells him. Comrades, remember that you are a half dragon, now your body cannot withstand my power for long, said Drag. If I know, that's why we have to run away, said Issei. But before that a power of destruction was launched at Issei's side. I'm sorry Issei, but I won't let you go until I marry you to my daughter said Vanala. The wall of ice had formed right behind Issei. Not if I do it, my servant first said Seraphol. Scared, I'm screwed, Issei mentally told himself. Until suddenly a golden light with a power that was greater than that of Office appears in a golden armor that looked like a centaur. Azazel who would have recovered from the attack said that's it. Then the armor separated and they fused with Issei. Everyone was shocked by how Issei looked. I don't know what this power is, but I will use it to escape, Issei said. When everyone, coming out of shock, asked Issei what that armor was but Issei told them. I don't know but I will use it to leave Issei said determinedly. Think we'll leave you, Azazel said, but before he could answer something, Issei attacked at incredible speed, knocking everyone unconscious and flew away. A while later while Issei was flying he said to Drake, "Drake, do you know what this armor is?" Issei said. "Comrades, that armor seems familiar to me, but I don't remember where Drake said it from." "I see, but now what are we going to do?" "I knew things wouldn't be easy, but I didn't imagine it would be so bad," Issei said. "What did you expect, mate? You are a humanoid dragon. It is common that everyone loves you for your power and blood. A descendant that, for example, is half demon and half dragon would be very powerful," Drake said. "I see, it's just for that reason," Issei said, half sad. "Who knows, mate, who knows," Drake said, trying to console his friend. "Well, you have to go with Eli, it's 5:55, she should head towards the hideout," Issei said as he flew with the Sagittarius armor. While at Gremory Mansion, the mayor gets up to soar. Michael says, "They're all fine," Michael said. "Yes, more or less," said Azazel. "Brother, you're fine," said Riaz that he went to help his brother. "Yes, I'm fine, but what was that power?" said Sinsaches. "I don't know, but it seemed like a divine power greater than the angels," Michael said. "I see guards," said Sinsaches. "Yes sir," said 2 guards. "I want you to give a message to all the guards. The Securite has resigned from the Gremory clan. You should look for him now and bring him back." Between the words, Sinsaches said. "Yes sir," the guard said. "Something else needed them to bring me something," said Sinsaches. "What a man," the guard said. "Well, you see," said Sinsaches. "In some place. This is getting really funny, but I guess it's time to act," said a mysterious woman. "Let's see, this universe has 2 interesting beings that are dead, Kisame Hoshigaki and Itachi Uchiha. I think it will do," said the mysterious woman. Chaos by Issei. A week after Issei escaped. After Issei left, the mayor told his entourage group that they were looking for Hyder Issei, but when Asher created chaos throughout the underworld. But why? All the clans wanted the Securite in their ranks because the Securite are rather high. Odo Issei, who is the only half-dragon to date, could have a child with one of his descendants, so that his clan would be the most powerful, or so some thought. But others were looking for him to join as an ally. But the ones who looked for him the most were the women who left him and those who wanted him, but each one had different plans, and they formed teams. Riaz and Akeno were in the human world looking everywhere for Issei until Riaz said, "Where could my beloved Issei have hidden?" said a worried Riaz. "Our beloved Issei remains to say president," Akeno said with a half-annoyed smile. "That doesn't matter, Akeno, we have to find him so we marry him before that bitch," said Riaz. If you were wondering why Riaz and Akeno are looking for Issei Guntas, it's because they made an agreement that if they found him, they would violate him until I got them pregnant, so he had to marry her, and she would live happily ever after. That was his plan for the light brown man, that they got a drug so that Issei would have relations with them. Yes, he could get tired. That drug would give him an erection for about 20 minutes, but of course he had to control it first. Asia, Irina and Zenobia, the 3 girls from the church, were looking for Issei with the people he made contracts with, but they did not attend to them. Why did Issei tell them what happened to him? Asia and Irina were really sad for losing Issei. He was her first friend, they would give whatever he wanted, including her virginity for him to be next to her again, they said, Asia and Irina. While Zenobia thought about how she could have a child with her beloved Issei if she had to grape him or let him savagely grape her, her mind was because according to a book it said that a man likes to take control of her. It was called Zenobia. Kaneko and Ravel, they were in the Phoenix mansion trying to convince Reyes to help them look for Issei, but he refused because it was their fault that she left the brunette for other men, but she can't partly blame him. He doesn't. No one to talk wanted to force Riaz Gremory to marry because he liked her body, and he didn't seriously realize that there was someone who really loved him, his queen who would soon be his wife. Then Ravel asked his mother Lady Phoenix for help, and she decided to help. Roswius was heading to Asgard to inform Odin about Issei. Meanwhile, Kiba and Lefay were sorry that Issei was leaving the Gremory clan, and they would look for them to eat his cake if he came back. In Kyoto, 2 mother and daughter Yakai were talking about how to attract Issei to their command. "Mother, how are we going to find Issei before the other factions?" Kunu said. "Don't worry, daughter, I sent Aristiders," said Yasaka. "Rasters?" Kunu said. "If Rastiders are the best search engines, unless you hide in space, they will find you," said Yasaka, full of confidence. "I understand, soon I will have a new father and a husband," said Kunu happily. In the sky, Michael was doing the paperwork until a guardian angel came in with news. "Mr. Michael," said the guard. "Yes, call me a welder," said Michael. Note. Michael calls his guard a welder. "The Yakai is moving," said the guard. "Well, just keep an eye on them, they may have information on Issei's whereabouts," he said. "Michael, if the guard told you to leave, soon little sister will have your beloved Issei Estada by your side." While in Gabriel's room, she was in the room with a special knob. Note the special knob, I don't know how to say it, it's a room that angels can enter and not fall for things such as anger, hex and other things. "Oh my Issei, I love you so much," said Gabriel. Gabriel is a big fan of Op-Eye Dragon, but a big fan of Bunk has pulled all, she even watched him while he slept. Note. stalker. When I find you I will tell you how much I love you, said Gabriel while kissing a photo of Issei. Serafal Citri. Issei, my love, I will find you no matter what it takes, Serafal said. Serafal fell in love with Issei after Asher, a crossover of the magical girl and the dragon Oppai. I don't care if you have a girlfriend, I'll give you Acer mine, and if I have to kick my ass, so be it, he said, shouted Serafal. Not if I find sister first, Sona said, hidden. While in a place Issei and Eli were resting while watching the sunset together. Issei, honey, what are you going to do now? Everyone is looking for you and also that armor, I feel something, family, Eli said. You're right, mate, although I looked for another carrier, they will continue looking for you, Drake said. You two just relax just a little, I want to rest first of all, then I'll find out who Asher, said Issei. I understand, mate, but the only option you have is to form a clan, said Drake. Drake, can I ask you something? Issei said. Yes mate, said Drake. Why did you say yes, looking for another carrier? Issei asked. That's easy mate, when you died I returned of my own free will to your new body, that's why I can leave and go look for another carrier if I wanted to, said Drake. I see, Issei said. I have a question, Eli said. Which? Drake said. Our clans formed. Eli said. Well, you already know about the faction, so I'll explain, Drake said. After explaining to Eli about the different clans she understood. You got it, Drake said. Yes, I understand, but if we formed a clan, who would join them? Eli asked. A moment of silence later. That hadn't occurred to me, Drake said. If you want, I can help you, said a voice. Who are you? Issei said, ready to fight. Calm down boy, I'm someone who's bored, help them, said the voices. Come out, Issei said, a little annoyed. Here I am leaving a very beautiful woman of about 30 years old, you can call me Delia, said the woman. She warned. Hello everyone, well I just want to show you the characters in my story who appeared and those who will appear. This is Gabriel, Michael's sister. Those who will help Issei. This is Delia. Note I changed her name before she was called Ray, because I couldn't find images that I would like, that's why I changed her name. Itachi Uchiha. Isam Hashigaki. I don't have the name yet, but she is a shrew. If you want to give her a name, leave it in the comments. The proposal. In the dimensional gap. Great Red and Office who were talking until feeling a very familiar power. Oh no, she came back, Big Red said with fear. She takes me, God, Office said with discomfort. But God is dead, said Big Red jokingly. Oh shut up, Office said, bothering and blushing. Ball with Issei and Eli. Who are you? Issei said. I already told you, my name is Delia, Delia said. Issei saw her better, and she was a very beautiful woman that made Issei drool. While Issei was drooling, Eli gave her a courser in the rib so that she would react. What did Issei say about the hit that she gave him? Delia just smiled at that. This Delia, who is she and why did she say she is coming? Help us, said Eli. Everything at her time, but first she won't invite me in, Delia said with a smile. Oh, sorry, excuse my manners, pass, Eli said. Thank you, Delia said. Eli, be sure to let her pass, said Issei. Of course she doesn't seem like a bad person, plus she would be right to listen to what she has to say, Eli said. You're right, mate, Drake said. Okay, Issei said, defeated. Inside the house, Delia has some tea while Issei and Eli observe her. Thank you for the tea, it was delicious, said Delia. Thank you very much, Eli said. Well, now that you're done drinking tea, you can tell us who you are and what you want, Issei said. Come on, get straight to the point. Well, I'll introduce myself formally, said Delia. Well, I am the Titanic goddess Delia, the creator and destroyer of reality, said Delia, as if she were a heroine. Issei and Eli just said that. The lake of silence after. I remembered, Drake said, upset. What's wrong, Drake? Issei said, surprised by Drake's attitude. Comrades, listen, that woman is one of the most powerful beings in the universe, said Drake. We, said Issei and Eli upon hearing what Drake said. Wow, it seems like one of the celestial dragons, you know me, said Delia. Oh, forgive me, I was upset, my goddess, I am, Drake said, but was interrupted by Delia. There is no need for introductions, I already know all the details, said Delia. But like Issei said, child, I am a super powerful goddess, of course I know everything, said Delia, a little annoying. Oh, I'm sorry, Issei said, kneeling. Excuse me, Miss Delia, Eli said. Yes, tell me, Delia said. If she is a very powerful goddess, why does she want to help us? Eli said with concern. Easy, I'm bored, said Delia. Bored? Eli said. If she thinks this, she has all the power to destroy Asher whatever she wants without anyone telling you anything. Of course, first it's great, you can do whatever you want, you can have money, you can have a man or women, you can have a planet if you want. But over time everything becomes repetitive and boring. You can do whatever you want, but remember that you've already done it. Although I was with many men and women, none of them made me happy. One day I was traveling through a universe, I don't remember which one, I found a man who felt a void just like me, so I went to talk to him. When I saw him, he was a bald guy. He was wearing a white cape and a yellow suit, but he had power almost like a god or maybe more. With him was a boy with blonde hair. I think he was a cyber or something like that, Delia said. Issei and Eli who were listening were wondering who that powerful guy was. Well, the point is that I asked that guy what his motivation was to continue when you feel empty and bored. He told me that he was a hero for a hobby and if he felt bored doing something and that's it. At first I didn't understand it, but then my head ticked and I understood. I had always done what I wanted, but I had never done something that I really enjoyed. Of course I did things that I liked, but I thought it was what someone with power would do. After talking to him he was about to leave, but I wanted to ask him his name, but he had already left. So I came to this universe where I met Office and Red, and when we met them, I played a bet with them, Delia said. What kind of bet? Drake asked. Let's put it this way, when I show up, they're afraid of me, said Delia with a half-mischievous smile. I see, said Issei. Well, he thought that he spoke so that Office and Great Red would be afraid of him. By the way, Dragon Celestia, as you know me, I don't remember thinking about it in front of you, Delia said thoughtfully. Why did I had heard rumors of a woman who was more powerful than Great Red in Office, along with she had black hair and golden eyes, Drake said. I see, said Delia. Miss Delia still haven't answered the question, Eli said Issei. Yes, well, I saw what happened to you, so since I had nothing to do, I wanted to help you, so he came to make you a proposal, said Delia. Which proposal? Issei asks. Acer your own clan, said Delia. Chapter 6. Like Asher my own clan. Issei said doubtfully. How did you hear your own clan, Delia said. But only high-class demons can have their own entourage, Issei said. Ha ha ha, but how naive you are. I really thought that only demons can give you an entourage or clan or whatever you want to call it, said Delia, laughing at Issei. What does she mean? Issei said, a little annoyed by Delia's laughter. Well, I'll explain to both of you, so I listened well and I'm talking to you, Elena Yuguki, said Delia while she took 100. First, not only demons can rise to supreme or high class, but also dragons, angels, fallen angels, etc. Delia said. Issei and Eli didn't know that angels could also rank up even the fallen ones and dragons. Second, Issei, you are already a higher level dragon and Sinziches, and the rest of the demons were deceiving you, said Delia. What did you say? Issei said, upset. What you heard, Sinziches and the demons deceived you, said Delia. But how and why, said Issei, even more upset. First, calm down, and second, they didn't do it on purpose. What does that mean? Issei said. She would have calmed down a little. Look, you remember that guy called Lord Daiko, Delia said. If he was a man of an advanced era, he wanted me for his clan, which I should reject, but why did you mention it? Issei said. Well, that man conventioned Sinziches so they don't give you the promotion to demon, said Delia. What did Issei say? Yes, true. Flashback. 3 months after the girls leave Issei. Hello Sinziches, how are you, said Lord Daiko. Daiko, what are you doing here? Sinziches said. Nothing important, he just came to comment on a rumor, said Lord Daiko. A rumor? Sinziches said. If you listen, I heard that your little sister broke up her relationship with a security. It's true, said Lord Daiko. Of course not, Ria's loving Issei would never let him go, Sinziches said. The truth is that Sinziches knew that Ria's and Issei's relationship was over, but he hoped that Ria's would realize his mistake and return to Issei before it was too late. Note Issei was not yet dating Alina at that time. I see a shame why my daughter is about to turn 16 and she could already form her entourage and I wanted the security to join her family, said Lord Daiko. Yes, it's a shame, but Issei is a member of the Gremory family, Sinziches said with a smile. True, but until when, Lord Daiko said. What do you mean, said Sinziches, making a serious face. Think about it. Hyodo Issei defeated Trihixa and sealed her again, and other previous achievements make him a candidate for high-class demon, or in his case superior dragon, said Lord Daiko. And he is still a member of the Gremory clan, and DXD, said Sinziches. Add when he is a high-class demon, if he does not marry Ria's Gremory, he could start his own family, said Lord Daiko. But Asher never renounced part of the Gremory clan, he is faithful to my sister, Sinziches said directly. But things change, Sinziches, but well, it's already late so I'm leaving, we'll see, said Lord Daiko. So Sinziches was left alone with his thoughts. Then flashback. After that, Sinziches hesitated whether to upgrade you to a high-class demon, because you are important to the factions and to the Gremory family. That's why when Lord Daiko said that word, Sinziches was afraid that you would join another faction. That's why he would never let you become a pawn, he said. Delia. I can't believe it, Issei said. Come on kid, if you want, blame someone, blame that Lord Daiko, he gave you that idea, Sinziches. Well, even if in the end it was true, said Delia. She's right mate, Drake said. Issei said Eli, hugging Issei by the sword. Well at least you didn't fall into the dragon fall, Drake said. What is the dragon fall? Eli asked. That doesn't matter, Drake said. Well, changing the subject, Miss Delia, you know what that armor is, Eli said. If it is one of the golden armors of but before Delia will continue to feel 3 presences approaching I know. It's better that I get her things together because soon we will have company, said Delia. Understanding the message, Issei and Eli headed towards her room to pack. When they left, Delia called someone. "Itachi, come here," Delia said, so that a tall man with black hair appeared in front of her. "Tell me, Miss Delia," said Itachi Ichiha. "Three things. First thing you think of Hyder Issei. Second, where is Kisame and stop calling me miss, just tell me Delia, it's less formal. And third, we have guests, don't kill them, just leave them unconscious, okay," Delia said. "First, Miss Delia, I don't know the boy well, but according to what I know, he seems like a good boy, but I don't see him as a leader. Second, Kisame is taking a walk around there since you gave us a second chance we should enjoy it or so Kisame said, and I call you miss why I kept you from my superiors. And third, I will take care of it immediately," Itachi said to disappear. "Oh, Issei, with these two in the clan, this is going to be very fun," Delia said with a smile. While there are three individuals in the forest known as the Rastators, they approached where Issei and Eli were. "We're already close," said one of the Rastators. "Remember, we just have to impress," said another. "If Yusaka-sama gave us this mission, Captain Van," said one of the Rastators. Note: this is Van. He is a werewolf type who was saved by the Yokai when he was little and was accepted as one of them. Since then he trained to serve Yusaka and his family. "Of course, Mika, there's no need to fail," said Van. Note: this is Mika. She is an elf who decided to become a Kinuchi in weapons and other techniques. "True, by the way, Taffy, something's wrong with you lately, you're talking too little," Mika said. Note: this is Taffy. She's a rabbit warrior mage, she can use any spell when she learns it and she's also good at hand-to-hand combat. She's a little talkative, but she's Mika's best friend. "Mika, Van, there's someone up front," Taffy said. "If I'm smelling it I also feel its magic, it's strong," said Van. "Taffy, get ready to fight," Mika said. "Yes," Taffy said. When they came out of the forest, in front of the three of them was Itachi Ichiha. Van asked, "Who are you?" "I'm a ninja," Itachi said. He had a straw hat on his head that didn't let his face be seen. "You're a ninja," Mika said. She's never seen a ninja dressed like that. "I didn't ask you that, who are you and what are you doing here?" Van asked, a little annoyed. "I am Itachi Ichiha and I have come to stop him so that my leader and his girlfriend can escape from him," Itachi said as he took off his hat showing his face. Mika and Taffy thought he was handsome. "Then you are our enemy," said Van, ready to fight. While Mika and Taffy did the same. "Well, let's begin," Itachi said. Chapter 7. At the hideout with Issei and Eli. They were packing some of their things to make room until Eli spoke. "Issei, do you think we should trust Miss Delia? I know we don't have many options right now, but she didn't tell everything very quickly," Eli said. "What does that mean?" Issei said. "Well, he told us everything about his life, about Shinzuchi's, and he was about to tell us about the armor. It doesn't seem very suspicious to you that they tell everything so quickly," Eli said thoughtfully. "You have your reason to be suspicious," said Delia, who was behind Eli, smiling. But when Eli said until she was interrupted. "When you started talking and before I apologize you should know that I'm not angry, it's obvious that I don't trust you, if I weren't a goddess I would do the same thing," said Delia. "I see, anyway, I'm sorry," said Eli, bowing his head. "Don't worry, I'll also help you with your luggage," Delia said to take her fingers and put away all the clothes. "Okay, thanks," Issei said, surprised by how quickly they packed. "You're welcome, well we have to go find those two and leave," said Delia. "That too?" Issei and Eli wondered. Then Delia transported Issei and Eli to where she was fighting Itachi. While with Itachi was fighting the Rastators in a very even fight. Van attacked Itachi with his great sword, who defended himself with two kunai, one in each hand. Then Mika tried to attack Itachi with the sword with one kunai, but he realized it and with one kunai, blocked Van's sword and threw the other towards Mika's right leg, which hit him, leaving the Kinuchi paralyzed. But Itachi got careless and was caught with a raise that came out of the ground courtesy of Taffy. Then you're going to see that Itachi, under his guard, took the opportunity to count it in half with his sword. "How you bucking deserve it," Taffy said. She was mad because she hurt her friend. Van, who saw the body, noticed that there was no blood, so the one that was cut in half transformed into a crow. "Raven," Van said until she noticed Itachi's presence. "Taffy behind you," Van said, but it was too late. Itachi was behind Taffy, who turned around only to receive a kick that sent her flying crashing into several trees, leaving her unconscious. "Taffy," Mika said as she took the kunai out of her leg to go help her friend. "Damned Admiral, we underestimated you," Van said with fury. At that moment Itachi received a message inside his head. "Itachi, I'm Delia, I'm going to teleport, get ready," Delia said. "It seems that the game is over, but we see it again," Itachi said, and then disappeared in a circle of light. "Damn, it was said they are going to see failing." "Taffy, you're okay, take this," Mika said as she gave her a phoenix tear, so that she will recover. While in another place, Itachi arrived at a place that looked like a mansion. He was about to explore the place until someone spoke to him. "Nice place, right?" Delia said that she appeared in front of Itachi along with Issei and Eli. This Delia, who is that man? Eli said, laughing at Itachi, thinking how cute he was. This is Itachi Uchiha, one of the members of the clan that formed with Issei, and by the way, he is a ninja, says Delia. Seriously, said Eli, excited to meet a real ninja. Yes, Delia said with a smile. Then Eli showed up. Hi, I'm Yuguki Alina, but she calls me Eli. Ninja Lord. I am Hyodo Issei, the current security and former pawn of Ria's Gremory. I'm very pleased with how Miss Delia told you, my name is Itachi Uchiha, and I will be one of the clan members. Millimeters. What is the name of the clan? Itachi said. Well, we haven't decided on the name yet, Issei said with each, I have no idea what to do. I understand, Itachi said while thinking. I was considered a genius in my clan, I performed S-class Ambu missions, and helped my brother stop the Edo Tensei like I did to end up in this situation, if I listened to that goddess. That reminds me, where is Kisum? Itachi said. So now I will teleport it, said Delia. Then Delia made a magic circle where Kisum appeared but naked. This is Kisum Hoshigaki in his most human form. Why his original body was destroyed or devoured. Just when he was in the second round, Kisum said in front of Delia, Itachi, Issei and Eli naked with his member raised. Kisum, where were you? Itachi said to his friend. I was in a cabaret. Since I have this body, why don't you take advantage of it, said Kisum. I wouldn't like to, I interrupted, but you can change your pants, Issei said. Well, Delia thought 15 centimeters while she licked her lips. Eli covered his eyes with his hands, but from time to time he glanced. Well, after you put on your pants, come to the living room, I have to explain about the armor and the training they are going to do, said Delia, regaining her seriousness a little. Yes, they all said. Ball somewhere. Hey Vali, did you hear what happened to Securite? Said a Nekomata cat known as Kuroka, who was in bed with the white celestial dragon. Yes, the whole world is looking for him, but I know he doesn't unite anyone, he said validly. How can you be so sure, Kuroka said. I don't know, I just know, Vali said. I understand, another round, Kuroka said, purring harshly. Well, that's fine, but then I'm going to train, that's fine, said Vali. Super important notice. Hello, I put this notice in advance, but since almost no one commented I put it here. Well, to start, these are the two new characters that will appear. She is Irene or Eileen Bolserio, whatever you want to call her. Her character information is. She is from the fairy tale universe members of the 12 currently dead Spriga. She was the first dragon slayer. She also became a mother dragon of Urza Scarlet Act. I also have to clarify that she is not going to be as powerful as the manga, and maybe I will give her armor. Guess which one? I don't know the last name. Character information. Holy Wizard, current state dead, fairy tale universe, magic. Ice of Creation, Mother of Altair, Grey Fullbuster and Lion Vastria, coming soon. Golden Knight of. This is Issei clothes. These two are confirmed for the story. The next one is also confirmed, but it did not have a name, but as I said, you should choose a name. Here it is. Her name is Yui. Name was given by NAWENFOREVER21, so the credit goes to him or her, no offense. Now I have a little problem. I was thinking of putting a fairy, but the character didn't fit well into the story. The character was this one. Andres Draco recommended it to me, but since I had to change some things it will not be in the story, but I have two new characters that you can choose which of the two you want in the story. Clarifications. Hello, no, it's not a chapter, it just came to clarify certain things. Let's get started. This is Yusaka, leader of the Yokai. Her hair is blonde but sparse, so that doesn't matter much. This is Kunu, Yusaka's daughter. Of course she is older than in the original canon. Kunu is 18 years old in this universe. Ravel and Kaneko 19 in case you want to know. Well, Yusaka and Kunu fell in love with Issei just like the other girls, but they didn't abandon him for other guys, but because he had a job in Tokyo. They also knew that the girls were cheating on Issei and that they were going to leave him, so they hoped that when Issei left the Gremory clan, she would recruit him to join the Yokai. Yusaka and Kunu were both going to marry him, but Issei fled to who knows where. That's why Yusaka sent the Rastators to have Issei in his command and in his bed as his wife. That's why Kunu says soon I will have a new father and husband. Why if Issei joins, she could also marry the light brown man along with her mother, she would share Issei. Well, now that's clear, that's Eli and Ur's armor. Ur's armor is obviously Aquarius. This is the aquarium armor. This is what Ur would look like with the armor on. No, not the same as the image, only with the armor, just use your imagination. Eli's armor would be that of Virgo. This is Virgo's armor. This is what Eli would look like with the armor on. What do you think? Well, to finish, what armor do you want for Irene and for Deimos? Leave it to me in the comments. Also the story Naruto the Ninja of the Orange Lightning, maybe I changed the name because I don't know, I'll see. I will also take a short break for a few days to continue this story. If you want me to do a story, leave it in the comments. Chapter 8. This happens a week after Delia confronts Issei about the armor which will be in the next chapter. Now let's continue. In the Gremory mansion there was Sinzich's, Graphi, Azazel and Penemu. This is Penemu note. I didn't find images of Penemu, so I put this one which I thought was incredible. Sinzichus was reviewing some documents about that armor that looked like the Greek zodiac, but he found nothing. He went to ask the Olympians, but he remembered that Zeus and his brothers fell, and now there is no one to answer his questions. Well, Azazel thought. Azazel wanted to know where Issei got that armor, even though he said he didn't know where it came from. But if he didn't know where it came from, it means that someone gave it to him. But the only beings would be two, one of the Olympians and that woman. But it was impossible that the Olympians could, why they were all annihilated by that man called Kratos, who after he took command of the fallen angels, wanted to recruit him into his ranks, but he disappeared. Some of my soldiers are still secretly searching for him. But then is that woman doing her move, or is an Olympian still alive? Out of Azazel's thoughts. Azazel-sama, said Pinissimo. Hey? Azazel said. Azazel-sama was telling him that I tangio the coffee. I say Pinissimo. Oh, thank you, Azazel said. Aku University. President Sona said. Tsubaki. Yes, Tsubaki. Saji and the girls informed me that they found a clue where Issei may be. Tsubaki said it would be. Seriously, she said. She sounds calm while inside she is excited. If we found a contact book in her house hidden under Issei's nightstand, there were 3 numbers open, one was from a real estate agency, Tsubaki said. I see a call to that real estate agency, said Sona. No, said Saji, we should tell you about this first, Tsubaki said. Well, tell Saji to bring the notebook and tell the others to rest tomorrow. We will go to that real estate agency, said Sona. But President, we shouldn't go looking for information now, Tsubaki said, surprised by the order of her president and friend. Not for 3 reasons. 1, we won't know where that real estate agency is. 2, if we find out where it is, we don't know if the angels or the fallen will follow them. And number 3, Tsubaki said thoughtfully about which number 3 would be. 3 is 7:30 p.m. and at this time it should be closed, said Sona. Oh, I see, Tsubaki said, blushing for not realizing that detail. Well, I'm going home, President, Tsubaki said. Okay, but don't forget to tell Saji and the others what we're going to do, Sona said. Yes, well, see you tomorrow, Tsubaki said. Yes, see you tomorrow, said Sona. After Tsubaki left, Sona went to the window to say this to herself. Issei asked me if it's too late to tell you what I mean for you, Sona said, a little sad. While in Arga, Roswius had arrived and told him about Issei, that she renounced the Gremory clan, and about the golden armor that she had. That's all, Odin-sama, said Roswius. I see, and what do you want me to do? Said Odin, closed a book he was reading. Huh? He said. Roswius. I ask you, what do you want me to do? Said Odin. I don't know, I thought you would look for Issei to join Arga and ask him about that armor, Roswius said doubtfully. Listen carefully, Roswius, and do not interrupt, said Odin. Roswius only doing. First, the Securitaire Hyodo Issei hasn't done anything wrong, he just resigned from the Gremory clan, and he didn't join a criminal group or anything like that yet. The second reason why he resigned was how the others abandoned him for other men, and instead of seeking revenge or reproaching them, he did nothing, just move on. Third, if he decides to become a criminal, then I will act to stop him, but knowing him I will not adore in any of that. Fourth, what he does with his life does not include them. Furthermore, that armor was a golden armor of the zodiac that can only be activated by 2. I will be an Olympian or that woman. Fifth and last, Roswius, you are a member of the race Gremory clan, although Arga will always be your home, we will not help recover the Securite. Odin said seriously. Roswius, while she was wondering what Odin-sama told her, she understood that Odin would not help her, and that it was a mistake to come to seek help. I understand, Odin-sama, said Roswius calmly, but inside he was sad. Well, listen, in 3 weeks I will go to Japan for a meeting with the leaders, let them know when I return. Thizdater, said Odin. Yes, Odin-sama, with her permission I will retire, said Roswius. After Roswius left, Odin sat on his throne to read a book note. Behind the book there was a XXX magazine for adults, I don't have to say the reference or if. In dimensional gap. Well, Red has everything she asked for, Afa said, a little worried. Yes, and I haven't seen you this worried since Issei almost died, said Big Red. Oh, shut up, and besides, he was the first person to teach me feelings, Afa said, embarrassed. And fall in love, said Big Red, smiling. Just shut up and let's go, Afa said, even more embarrassed. In Tokyo, the Aristiators had returned with Yasaka and told them what happened to Itachi when they went to the cabin that was abandoned. I understand well that guy named Itachi got in your way, and that when you left he arrived where Issei could be, right? Yasaka said. If Yasaka-sama, as the leader of the team, I am responsible, said Van, kneeling and bowing his head. I understand then, as a punishment, you will clean the temples for 2 weeks, said Yasaka. Yasaka-sama, said Van, raising his head. May Taffy and Mika help you, Yasaka said. Yes, Van said. Now stand down, Yasaka said. Van leaves. Mom thought she would be a little upset, Kanu said. Honey, I sent the Rastators to look for Issei, don't attract him, plus you have a feeling that someone beat him to it, said Yasaka. Yes, said Kanu before she was interrupted by her mother. Daughter, you have no homework to do, Yusaka said, showing a half-forced smile as she raised her power. Now that you mention it, I have a little, let's see, Kanu said to run away. In the sky, Michael was looking for information about Issei's armor and why she had divine power. Note. I'm going to leave out the angels, why it's the same thing that Azazel and Sinziches are doing, so let's continue. At Issei's parents' house, Riaz and the rest of the occult club were seeing some clue from Issei. Asia, Irina, Zenobia found some information about Issei's contracts, he said. Riaz. No, we didn't find anything, said Asia sadly. True, the people Issei made contracts with did not want to attend to them because they said that Issei told them what we did to him and that we were a bad match for him, Irina said. Note. I forgot, Irina fell, but half, that is, half an angel, half a fallen angel forgot the truth. I threatened someone, but I didn't know anything about Issei, Zenobia said. I see, and you Kaneko, said Riaz. I went with Ravel to ask Reyes for help, but he refused, so Ravel asked Lady Phoenix to help them. I sent a search squad, but they still haven't found anything, Kaneko said. I see, said Riaz disappointed. And you, Kiba, said Riaz, hoping that his knight found some clue. Actually, I went on a date with Faye. I went to train a little and take a nap, Kiba said. Riaz and the girls almost fell from their successes because of what Kiba said. Kiba-sen, I thought you would look for Issei-kun, said Asia. I don't know what to confuse, I looked for him for a week and a half, then I thought if Issei wanted to come back he would come back, and also although it hurts me that my friend left the club there and I can't force the president to come back, he chose his path, Kiba said. All the girls stayed silent. Well, president, I'm leaving, we'll see you tomorrow, Kiba said to leave. Well, girls, tomorrow we will continue searching, Akeno said. She was silent the entire time. When all the girls went to their rooms except Riaz and Akeno. Riaz thinks that if we find him based on our plan, Akeno said. It has to work, I made a mistake by abandoning it, but this time I will do it right, said Riaz with determination. I'll wait until tomorrow, Riaz, said Akeno. See you tomorrow, Akeno, said Riaz to go to her room. Akeno, I want to be alone, said Issei. When I have you again, Adder, something that was so funny, she said while she licked her lips. Chapter 9.5. This happens a week before then, he explained to them. Okay. After Kisum put on his pants, he and the others went to the room where Delia and 3 other people were. This Delia, who are they? Issei said, pointing to where a muscular man and 2 beautiful women were. The man's name is Deimos, the Golden Knight of Taurus, the red-haired girl is called Irene Bulsarian, the Golden Knight of Scorpions, and the black-haired girl is Milkovich, and she is the Golden Knight of Aquarius, Delia said. So you are new members, right, Itachi said, mind you. That's right, and who of you is our future leader, said Deimos. He is the one, Delia said, pointed out to Issei. He doesn't look like a warrior for a baby, Deimos said with a laugh. It looks a little like Grey, was Ur's thoughts. Hey Deimos, leave the boy alone, we still don't know anything about him, and you're already looking for a fight, said Irene, looking at Issei and thinking, this boy has the essence of a dragon. Well, why doesn't he introduce himself like that, explain some things, Delia said. After Issei and the others introduced themselves, Delia told them to listen to what she was going to tell him. Well, to start, I will tell you, or better yet I will show you about the Olympians, why they don't do them anymore, said Delia. Then Delia showed a 360x480 plasma on the wall, something like that. I'm not good at measuring something I don't have. Well, I'll show you the story of the ghost of Sparta, said Delia. To turn off the light, turn on the police. After showing her the story, Delia asks if you have any questions. Yes, I have one that has to do with the golden armor and that guy called Kratos, Issei said confused. Nothing but at the same time everything, said Delia. I don't understand, Issei said. I'll explain it to you, Delia said. Narration by Delia. Well, you see, Artemis, just like Hera's, plotted against Zeus to remove him from power, so she ordered some armor to be made with the Cyclops by orders of Zeus. Of course the Cyclops did tarot because a daughter of Zeus said it, and they were loyal to Zeus and Olympus, so they did what she asked them, and that was the armor, but of course things are never that easy. The Cyclops made the armor, but they were not complete, they needed 2 strong and powerful warriors' blood, and also the power of a god. For Artemis, blood was easy. She looked for strong and talented warriors to die for the gods, and with Kratos killing for everyone would think that he was the one who killed those warriors, but the power of a god would be complicated, so she decided to kill a god. Easy, and thought he could use Kratos for that. But how could I use it, Artemis thought, but to the point, after Kratos killed Hera's, she went crazy, she used her power in the armor that gave them that golden color, but since no one knew about the armor, that's why no one used it. Chapter 9 and 2 halves. I understand that the damn people who locked me up are dead and 1 or 2 went crazy, but what happened to my brother, Deimos said, half angry. Before answering you have to wait for those 2 to come, said Delia. Those 2? Everyone thinks. Suddenly a violet magic circle appears from the ground and 2 beings come out. Finally they arrived, said Delia. One was a red-haired woman and the other was a black-haired woman. Ask who you are, Issei said. You don't recognize your friends anymore, said the black-haired woman. That voice office said Issei exalted. Of course I'm the one who said the most office. I'm sorry I don't recognize you again said Issei to be interrupted. All with more chest said office. I was going to say pretty, Issei said. A baka and don't talk nonsense, plus you have a girlfriend, see truth, said office, blushing and nervous. Issei was surprised by that reaction. Commonly, office did not show any of her emotions towards anyone, but here she showed them as if she were a normal teenager. Well, of course she was a dragon. If it's her, Issei said, pointing to Elena. Hello, I'm Yuguki Elena, please can you tell me Eli, Eli said with a smile. Hello, I'm Office Ouroboros, nice to meet you, Office said. By the way Office who is the Redeed said Issei. It is I, Great Red, who does not recognize the dragon that saved you, said Great Red. Wide-eyed, but I thought it was a man, Issei said upset. Issei, we have no gender, we can be women or men whatever we want, Office said calmly. You're right, mate, Drake said. While this was happening, those who were there were surprised. Itachi and Kisame were surprised by that information. They never thought that dragons could take human form and they also felt great power from them. But Lur and Eileen did not understand much, she knew that the dragons in her world had a clear gender. Her only heard that and Eileen did not understand how gender changed. She was a dragon and never heard of that and Demios wanted to know about her brother. Excuse the introduction, but can you tell me what happened to my brother, said Demios. Well, I'll tell you, Eli, come here, Delia said calmly. Yes, Miss Delia, Eli said. Eli, let me introduce you to your uncle Demios, and Demios, let me introduce you to your niece, Delia said calmly. Everyone is exempt some said. Waddy. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day bye.